Hello everyone and welcome to the 2007 Can-Am Grand National Cross Country Series. It's round 2 from the beautiful Aonia Pass Motocross Complex in Washington, Georgia. Jason Wygant here, your host of Racer TV on Versus. Shane Watts pulled off one of the all-time upsets in GNCC history by winning the opening round of the Florida Sand. Watts has not been a genuine GNCC championship contender since he won the title 7 years ago. XC1 Pro riders are headed to the starting line, and we're going to check it out. GNCC Racing is next. All right, it's time to go racing here in Georgia, and there you see him, the number 9, Shane Watts. Oft-injured, controversial, outspoken, and your series points leader for the first time since early in 2001. But a huge pack of riders are lined up today to try to take Watts down. Into the first turn we go here. The number 8 on the inside is Jim Jarrett on the Suzuki. The FMF squad has got to be pumped over that. But listen to these riders whine through the gearbox early in this race. Oh, and Jarrett goes down, loses the front end, and hands the lead over to his teammate, Glenn Carney. The Suzuki boys up front early, but look at this pack. The best off-road riders in the world, and they are hustling to try to get in front before we get into the woods. And it turns single file once you get into there. Next class on the line is XC2 Pro Lights, 250Fs and 125s. Riders down already in turn 1. But another rider down in the center. Brian Lawson on the outside there in the 22. But here comes Kurt Caselli. Caselli won the opener in Florida, looks strong again. Oh, another rider down to the outside. More carnage everywhere in this class. This one is going to be wild to watch all season long. But how about Glenn Carney in the lead early as we go back to the XC1 group. And there's David Knight in second. Lots of championship expectations on that young rider. Coming all the way over from the Isle of Man. Has a bunch of world championships under his belt. And he is expected to not just win, but dominate. But look at this, Glenn Carney already beginning to pull away. He has stepped on it, he is sprinting early, and he is gone. Watts has now gotten around Knight. That's got to feel good. Watts now a full KTM privateer, putting the factory boy behind him. The rest of the pack, as you see, already stringing out. That's why they were hustling so hard early in that open field section. But here's your leader, Glenn Carney.
Same as every week, you know, good start, try and get out front. I had a really good start at Florida, but didn't do too well there, and I'm looking to redeem myself this week. So hopefully a good start again, you know, look for a place on the podium.
Well, the problem that Carney had was the flu in Florida, and that sapped his energy. These are 3-hour races. If you are not 100% physically, you're not going to make it to the finish line. So he's got to make up big points today in the series. And you see the wide variety of terrain in GNCC. We got mud, ruts, hills, and we got Kurt Caselli leading the XC2 class. Back up front with Carney. You can't even see anyone behind him as the flashback to find his teammate Jarrett has actually moved all the way back into second after that first turn crash. But look at this freight train coming through. There's a lot of talent in this group. This guy right here, 177, Simo Kersey out of Germany. He turned a lot of heads in Florida, running strong. But Carney is looking to make up for lost ground at that event, and he is gone. I don't know where his endurance is, but his speed is certainly not in question any longer as he has put the hurt to these guys early on. Now here is the battle. Jarrett has come all the way back to second place, but look at Knight stalking him, and look at how big Knight is on that motorcycle. Over 6 feet 4 inches tall. He is by far the biggest man out here, and when these courses get technical and rough, the size and strength will play to his advantage. A big battle behind him, and a big battle back here in XC2. Caselli is out front, but it is still close. And we talked about at the beginning of this season how stacked the competition would be in this class. And look at this freight train, can barely even keep track. Got some of the monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki guys in there. That's Rodney Smith in the yellow bike right in the center. A lot of talent in that class. Lap 1 in the books, the infamous tire jump here at the Maxxis General. And Glenn Carney clears it with ease, and he's going to lead them around lap 1. And it's a Suzuki sweep. Those Maxxis tires can't stop Jarrett. They don't stop Knight. And here comes the rest of the pack. Charlie Mullins is 4th right now. Mullins trying to be consistent, working on a championship. His teammate, though, Hawk, won't jump the big jump. And here goes Paul Whibley on the Honda. Sorry, that was actually Josh McLeavy choosing to go around the big triple there. Caselli will jump it. This is Josh Weisenfels, another XC2 rider. There's your Can-Am leaderboard. We are just getting started here. You got to stay with us for more GNCC on Versus. GNCC Racing on Versus, brought to you by Can-Am BRP, Yamaha, Moose Racing, Rocky Mountain, and KTM. Now, a lot of times here in these GNCC races, we talk about the teams. The riders talk about all the people that support them. We're going to go behind the scenes and find out exactly what Warner Racing and Can-Am does for their factory riders in the 4x4 and utility classes. Let's take a tour of their factory semi. All right, when we say we're going to take you behind the scenes, we mean it. This is the super secret of the Can-Am and Warner Racing team, the Riders Lounge. Rare to find this in GNCC Racing, an area that's clean, an area that is quiet. This lounge is designed to do that. They've got all the plush luxuries here, including the leather couch, the chrome accoutrements. They've also got lockers, which we cannot get into because they are locked lockers. But everyone's got things to make them comfortable here at the races, whether it's just a quiet place to hang out and talk about their race strategy or a place to come and rest and relax after the races. This is where they do it. They've also got a stereo system just in case being quiet isn't what you're actually looking for in the room that's designed to be quiet. Either way, this is a little secret weapon that the Can-Am team has, but the secret is ours. Okay, the riders talk about all the support that they get from these teams, and here's why. When you have a big truck like this, you're able to bring equipment that most riders can't stuff into their toolbox, and that's what goes in these big lockers here. I need two hands to do this, so bear with me. Here we go. You look inside here, we got all the big stuff. You've got your giant air compressor, you've got your giant toolkit, you've got your giant battery charger. They've even got an arc welder in there as well. So no matter what goes wrong during the course of race weekend, they can fix it inside this truck. Okay, how prepared is this team? They're prepared for anything. This bin right here has the fire extinguishers and the fuel, so both the cause and the cure. Here we go in there. They've got a whole bunch of race fuel, so they are prepared for any race situation, and just in case the fuel burns a little bit too hot, they got the fire extinguishers as well. And coincidentally enough, the barbecue grill located right next door. Race gas in that thing. Okay, normally between races, this spot right here is where the quads would rest, but it does make for a great tool chest with plenty of room to work when they're out there on the racetrack. And they've got it all organized here, SAE and metric sockets. You know, these ATVs are French-Canadian. Screwdrivers, the whole 9 yards. I've already shoplifted quite a few of these and treated myself to a 5-finger discount because this isn't the kind of stuff you're going to get at the local hardware store. This is high-end stuff made just for the Can-Am and BRP riders. All right, so that's the tour of the rig here with Can-Am, BRP, and Warner Racing, but don't tell anybody because there's a lot of secrets in there, and, well, we hope nobody just saw what we just showed you. All right, here's what we're seeing out here on the racetrack. Glenn Carney pulling a larger and larger lead, and there you see why. He is flooring it early on that RM250. His teammate Jim Jarrett looks strong as well in second. You got to be careful in these sections of the course. David Knight here going by has got to be hitting near 60 miles an hour, and if you hit one of those trees, it's like a concrete wall. They do not move. Got to be careful through these sections of the course. One mistake will end your day. Now back into the open section of the course here in Georgia, and Carney continuing to motor past now, lap traffic on only the second lap. You know you're going fast when you're lapping, guys. Only one lap into the race. Carney into the woods, back out, back into the field section, off the back of the bike, just floating on top of these bumps, trying to save as much energy as he can. Now, the way this thing works with a 3-hour race and lap traffic out there, a huge lead now is not a guarantee of a huge lead at the finish line, so he's going to have to be careful. Here's Mullins battling with Edmiston. Let's check in with Charlie.
For me, the track today, I'll definitely want to be standing a lot just because of the choppy corners. It take its toll on you sitting down. My conditioning this year is a lot better than it was last year, and I hope I'm one of the strong guys.
Well, Mullins wants to be strong. The strongest of all just might be David Knight, and we had a chance to talk to him earlier.
You know, as far as I look, it's, you know, this year is that one race that I've done, and it was tough, you know, and I knew it would be, and I was happy with second. So today, I think, you know, everything going well and no problems, and hopefully I'll, you know, go for the win.
All right, Knight is expected to win races this year, no doubt about it. Here comes Caselli, still leading that XC2 class. There's Rodney Smith with him, and there's Watts all the way back in the pack. The word is that Watts has lost his rear brakes, and that's why he is so far back. Carney, meanwhile, continuing to dominate. Let's listen.
You got a minute lead. Big lead, GK. You got a minute lead.
Big lead. Big lead, Mike. Right smart, right.
This is yours, this is yours.
He is in and he is out. So very relaxed there in those Suzuki pits. They've got things going. Meanwhile, they tell Paul Whibley of the Honda crew to just keep on riding. Mullins in the pits. All right, we're going to go to our KTM Spotlight. We'll be back. Now, something all forms of motorsport have in common is how important equipment is to getting riders or drivers to the finish line. But perhaps no form of equipment has to be as carefully tailored as GNCC race bikes. There is such a variety of conditions these machines have to go through, it's very difficult to dial them in. KTM has tried to help out their riders by introducing the hard parts line, which is basically ready-made parts and accessories that help the riders be that much more comfortable and effective in GNCC racing. Let's give you an idea of some of the parts they have. It includes a full selection of riding gear, including jerseys, pants, helmets, boots, and gloves, which are specifically designed for the grueling conditions of off-road racing. It also includes probably the most important part of a rider's gear, which is the drink system. Straps to the rider's back, the hose goes underneath the helmet so the rider can take a drink during a race. These are grueling 3-hour events. That is very, very important. Although KTM won't provide the contents, that's up to the rider. They've also got a lot of great accessories for the bikes as well, including heavy-duty skid plates, chains and sprockets, case covers, things designed to make the bike that much more durable to get you to the finish line of a rugged off-road race. Whether you race in the desert, through Africa, or all the way here in the eastern U.S. in the tight, muddy woods, the KTM Hard Parts line has something for the riders to make the race day that much better. GNCC Racing on Versus, brought to you by Can-Am BRP, Yamaha, Moose Racing, Rocky Mountain, and KTM. Back to the action here, and a thick pack of lap traffic is now greeting our leader, Glenn Carney, here at the Maxxis General GNCC. And chasing him down now is Paul Whibley on the Parts Unlimited Moose Honda. This is the furthest toward the front of the pack I think we may have ever seen Paul. He is known as a come-from-behind charge kind of guy, not usually up front here in the first half of the races. The Yamaha boys, Hawk and Mullins, have hooked up in a battle for 5th, but that's not where they want to be. They want to be where this guy is, Carney, who has led this thing since the second turn on as we approach the halfway mark. But here is the trouble. These lap riders are slowing him down. They're taking him off of his rhythm. And Whibley looks smooth and smart back there. He seems to be in control. But look out, he's got Edmonston right there with him. Edmonston going to try a pass now on the outside. Not going to work. He had to take one more kink in that line he had. And Whibley, he's just running high gear, low RPM, and cruising. Same thing with Caselli here in the XC2 class, who continues to lead them around. Now Carney finally finds some open racetrack, puts the hammer down, and the lead is still pretty sizable. 3 laps in the books for Glenn Carney, and the crowd here in Georgia cheering him on. And Edmonston has now made the pass on Whibley to get in a second. What a shock. Now Edmonston was strong in Florida, but that was his hometown race. I don't know if people expected him to be up front again today here in the woods. Mullins, Jenks, and Jarrett round out your top 6, so Jarrett's lost a couple of spots. Carney off that big step down, continuing to hold on. Let's check in with Barry Hawk, who has struggled so far this year.
Hopefully I can turn things around here, and I want to be on a podium for sure, but I definitely want to get a win. I put myself behind with getting 7th or 8th, whatever I got in Florida, and I need to make up some points here. So a lot of guys here, and it's going to be a long, tough day, but hopefully things turn out good for me.
Now Hawk, your 2003 GNCC champ, your runner-up in the series the last 2 years, a 7th in Florida and outside the top 5 early today. Oh, mistakes by Carney, and look who's there. Whibley's gotten back past Edmonston and is all over GK going for the lead. So this is the GNCC game. A one-time 1-minute lead for Carney has evaporated completely now in the second half of this race. Edmonston, Jenks on the charge. And here is Mullins back in this pack. You got to be surprised. Mullins had a great start today, and I would expect him to be up front with Wibbs and GK, but 5th place, not where he expects to be. Jarrett still circulating in 6th. Those Suzuki guys owned the first half of this thing, but they are under some heat right now. Carney looks good as we get back to the more open sections of the track, but everywhere he goes, he can hear that big Honda 4-stroke behind him. We see Mullins, and we see Jenks 5th and 6th, and Watch beginning to move back into the top 10. We credit him now in 7th after the brake troubles early in the race. Everywhere Glenn Carney goes, he has to deal with that four-stroke, and Whibley trying to take the lead from him. And I'm telling you, it looks like Carney's on the charge, and Whibley's just out there for a Sunday afternoon cruise. He is just relaxed back there and taking it easy, and Carney's doing everything he can to hold him back. Edmiston and Jenks third and fourth, and Watts not far off of their pace as well. So Watts is on the comeback charge. Another lap in the books, and well, Carney's still got the lead, but that New Zealander is right behind him now. Big changes from what we saw 1 lap ago, and the full privateer Edmiston still in a podium spot in third. Jenks is fourth as you check out our scroll down there. Let's see if Mullins can mount a charge late. He told us earlier, of course, he wants to be one of the strong guys. This will be his opportunity to prove it. All right, as the rest of these guys come through, Jarrett and Watts, we'll see who's got the stuff late in this race. We'll be back in a moment. But first, it's time for a Rocky Mountain Tip of the Week.
Now, if you're out riding in the woods or off in the desert, you come across some markings like these, you better hope your suspension's working. And here at Tusk, we've come up with a product to help with your suspension setting. This is the forked air bleeder. This allows the rider to let the air pressure out of his forks while he is racing on the move. That allows the optimum performance of his fork. This and many other great products available at RockyMountainMC.com.
GNCC on Versus, brought to you by Can-Am BRP, Yamaha, Moose Racing, Rocky Mountain, and KTM. Back to the race action, and we have got a battle here as the riders blow through the pits. Glenn Carney just trying to hold on for dear life with major pressure from the four-stroke rider, and he takes the lead. Paul Whibley makes it happen, and they had completely different lines, and Carney saw it coming. You don't want to run into the big man from New Zealand, or he might have gone flying. So Whibley has taken the lead thanks to the Yamaha there with the help for our slow motion replay. But just like that, Carney has repaid the favor and gotten back around Whibbs. Wait a minute, what is this? David Knight off the racetrack and talking it over. We'll have to get a report as what has happened to the Nighter. We have lost him from our lead pack radar screen. Whibley has gotten the lead now back from Carney, so back and forth. Carney's got some fight left in him. Let's see if he can get Whibley back. Now Jenks has moved past Carney into second. We've lost Carney altogether, and maybe that fast pace early has dropped him back. Indeed it has. He has now gone back to fourth, and you've got to wonder if he's maybe starting to tire or make some mistakes. Remember, just a couple of days ago in Florida, he was suffering from the flu and did not have the endurance to go 3 hours. But this guy just might. Paul Whibley taking the white flag. He has come from way back in the pack. You didn't even see him early in this race. He is in the lead on the final go-round. Edmiston, Jenks, Carney. Now Carney under pressure from Mullins. Let's listen to Whibley's pit. Parts Unlimited Moose Honda people are happy. Let's check in with the Suzuki crew.
It's real tough out there. I rode the morning, and you could get stuck anywhere. And Glenn was riding good early, had a minute lead, and looks like he might have got stuck and lost the lead. Got it back at when Whibley just pitted, and hopefully we can run with him.
Shea Watts now in the pits. Watts doing it on his own. His wife is helping him out. Let's talk to her.
He got hit on the jump on the first lap by a rider when they overshot the jump, and it busted his brake line, his rear brake line, so we lost about 3 minutes changing the brake line. But we gassed him and got him out, and he was able to go 4 laps instead of 3 with just 1 pit. So hopefully he's catching up. He's riding fast and he's having fun, so that's a good thing.
All right, Carrie's doing a good job. Oh! Unbelievable. That's a drop-down section we saw earlier. Luckily, that rider's okay. Caselli, well, he's under pressure now from Duval, so we got a battle in XC2 as well. Now, Paul Whibley's leading this thing. We talked to him before the race.
It's like the 3-hour kind of race format, and I've always wanted to come over here and race in America. Just keep pushing forward, just keep riding smooth, don't make no mistakes, and just try to be there for the last lap, the the last few corners.
Last lap here at the General. We thought this tire section would be one of the most gnarly sections in the entire series. Not the case. Our leaders are jumping it like it's nothing, especially Paul Whibley. That guy is on a rail. He's got a minute lead, and he does not look to be fading at all. No, indeed not. Whibley dealing with some lap traffic. The spectators pointing out the smooth line, and you see he nailed that step down a whole lot better than the rider we saw a few minutes ago. Whibley has yet to even score a top 3 podium finish in his GNCC career, and now he's working on his first win. The New Zealander is coached, and his mechanic is Scott Summers, and that's your 5-time GNCC champ, a living legend. Now, Edmiston is second in front of Jenks. This is already shaping up to be a year of upsets. Watch wins the opener. Whibley out front here, round 2, and Edmiston is the only guy putting in 2 solid runs so far this year. And Caselli all the way up to 4th overall and leading the XC2 class. But it's Whibley's day. The man out of New Zealand is going to bring the Parts Unlimited Moose Honda team their first ever GNCC win, and they are happy. What a wild season it has been. We got reports that Barry Hawkins run out of gas. David Knight out of the race with a hand injury. What a wild season. Whibley wins it.
Got a reasonable start and kind of pushed right through the pack. It's all come together for me.
Did you expect coming in today that you could get a win?
Anything's possible, but I was just hoping for a first podium.
What's this mean for the rest of the year?
I know I can do it now. I'm on it now.
You bet he's on it. The champagne flies. Edmiston and Jenks join him on the podium. It's a season of upsets. Stay with us all year on Versus. I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching.
The Grand National Cross Country Championship is sanctioned by the American Motorcyclist Association. Rights, Riding, Racing. AMA. Join now.